today we are going to discuss about APL Apollo pipes. So a lot of a lot of you must have heard about like APL Apollo tubes, which is the main promoter group of the company, right? And this APL Apollo is a sister concern of the same company. So Mr. Sanjay Gupta is the chairman of APL Apollo Group. So he's also the executive chairman of the APL Apollo pipes. And this company is being run by Mr. Samir Gupta, who is also the MD of the company. The company has a good track record of 20 years. It has in the business since like 20 early 2000s, right? And over the years, last 20 years, the company has expanded its product portfolio by currently manufacturing more than 1500 products, right? So if you look at the promoter holding, it's roughly around 47%, right? And even though with a market cap of around 1400 crore market caps, the company is still very hugely invested by institutional investors, like roughly closing to around 23%, right? And if you look at the pledging now, pledging from the main promoters, so the pledging currently stands at around 0%, right? So there is absolutely no promoter pledging in this company. And if you look at the conviction of the management in this company, so just in the year 2019, the promoter have infused around 200 crore in the company. They converted a debentures at around 500 rupees, and they have set on an aggressive task to build the capacity, right? So when it got listed on the exchange in year 2019, the company was actually having just 500k MTPA. Now it is sitting at a capacity of around 1200k MTPA, right? So this is a brief journey of the company. The company commenced its operation in year 2000. Then in year 2005 and 10, the company started manufacturing HDPE pipes, which are high density polyethylene pipes, which are used for transfer of gas and liquids. In year 2013-15, the company innovated and started UPVC segment, which has given it potential to transfer the chemicals as well, right? And which was mainly used, the pipes are used in the agri and the sewerage fittings. So and then again, in the year 2018, the company innovated again and then moved towards the premium segment of sewerage fittings, which by started manufacturing plastic faucets, tapes and showers and etc. And in the year finally 2019, the management decided to increase the capacity, because they have some plan with the main promoter company, and they wanted to utilize the thrust given by thrust given by the government by all those schemes that the government is running, right, for promoting irrigation and all. So they aggressively expanded the product portfolio by increasing the capacity, and they also started manufacturing the water tanks. So this is the key revenue segment, right? So if you if I just segregate this in a two format, which is the key focus area. So clearly the agriculture, waste management, water management system, and the construction segment is the key focus area for the company. Around 41% revenue comes from the agri side, 38% from the plumbing side, and then around 18% from the sewage treatment, while less than 5% is being contributed by the other two segments, right? So you can look at have a look at all those sub production areas where the company is currently into. So basically it makes the casing pipes, drip irrigation, sprinkler for the agri. For water management system, it manufactures housing and industrial installations. Then it also helps to transfer of potable water, both heated and cold. And then it's into construction of borewell pipes, sanitation and sewage pipes, and the plumbing pipes. So these are the main areas in which the government is currently into. If you can just move to the next slide. So these are the products portfolio. I'll just give a quick overview. So UPVC pipes are basically corrosion resistant pipes, and they are very good for industrial use as well. So these are all sort of UPVC pipes that the company is manufacturing. CPVC pipes are chlorinated PVC pipes. So basically they have some higher chlorine content, around 67%, while the PVC pipe, normal PVC pipes, just have a 57% chlorine content. So by virtue of higher chlorine content, these pipes can withstand around 93 degrees Celsius of temperature, right? So this is what gives the edge for the CPVC pipes. And considering we are in a situation where the raw materials are constantly on a rise, right? We saw the iron ore prices going through the roof and hitting a 10-year high. So in that case, it this segment has emerged as a good substitute for the metal pipes, right? And then we have HDPE pipes, which are high density polyethylene pipes. And company recently branched out to this path fitting segment as well, which are the premium segment. And the company actually plans to increase the share of this, high premium, high premium segment to 15% of the total revenue of the revenue mix of the company. And in fact, last year, one of the major water tank manufacturer exited the market. And basically that, to occupy that space, the company has also moved into water tank space by launching up this Apollo Pipe Life water tank segment, right? So basically, the companies, what we can see is that company is constantly innovating and including new products in the portfolio and completely driving towards getting new market share as well. So this has been evident from the last 20 years history of the company, but we are yet to see what the company has in plan for the future, right? So that my colleague Vijay will discuss later on. So if you can just move to the next slide. Company is clearly into the manufacturing of this PVC pipes, right? So basically it manufactures the pipes and then push it to the distributors, and then it becomes very critical for the company to place the manufacturing point close as to the distributors, right? So what we have seen, the management constantly promised that they will be expanding and the distribution network, and they will place the company close to the distribution points, because distribution is a big expense when it comes to delivery of the material, right? So what we can see, the company is very strong in the north and the western part of the country, but company has recently acquired plant in Bangalore, have done some brownfield expansion in the central part of the country, right? So basically currently the company has expanded its manufacturing location. And if you talk about the touch points, right? So basically the company itself has 600 depot points, right? 200 consignment operators, right? Which is out there working towards transfer of material, right? And if we talk about the connection with the network effect with the promoters, so the promoters have presence in 300 Indian cities, and they have a 4,000 strong retail base, right? So this kind of setup, it took around 30 years for APL Apollo Tubes to grow, and APL Apollo Pipe can utilize that network. So now it has 1200K MTPA capacity, and then access to 300 cities and 4,000 dealer touch point, right? So it's just a matter of time when it start manufacturing those items and pushing it to the dealer point, which can transform into higher volume, higher revenue, and higher profit. Right. So this is how the manufacturing and distribution networks look like. And basically because of the consistent effort that they have pushed in putting the manufacturing plants close to the distribution channels, it used to be around 10-12 days, the distribution touch point for the company a year back or so, right? Now it has come down to just 2 days, right? And it will even go down further when they will start opening much more distribution points in the manufacturing plant, right? So coming to the financial part, so we discussed in our previous webinar that we follow a very stringent process to identify the companies from a universe of around 5,000 companies, right? We create a subset of 100 companies, then we rank it, right? So these are some of the parameters that we we apply a macro filter on. And even if you are in individual investor who loves to do things on your own, so you can also take note of these financial metrics, which are good indicator of company's past performance. So if you look at the company's ROCE, the company has averaged around 20% over last 5 years, right? So the ROCE has been super, it's in double digits consistently for the company. And if you look at the volume expansion, right, so it has gone up from 40,000 MTPA during time of listing to 4,800 MTPA, right? And if you can just extrapolate some few years down the line, maybe 22, 23, so this is expected to go up to 1,200 MTPA, right? So this is kind of the historical volume growth that we have seen around 13%, which gives the comfort that whatever the milestones target the company is promising to the investors, the company is meeting that in a very very timely manner. So moving to the next slides, please. So yeah, so this is the two matrices that we closely follow: the revenue growth historical and the net profit growth. So on those in this both these parameters, if you can look, so the revenue has grown by 21% CAGR over the last 5 years, and then net profit growth is averaging around 30%, right? So we at the time of doing the initial shortlisting, we apply some parameters the company should have at least net sales of greater than 8%, ROCE greater than 12%, debt to equity less than 1.5, and promoter placing should be close to zero, less than 25%. And if we compare those parameters like with the actual parameters of this company, APL Apollo Pipes, so the net sales is coming around 22% as against 8%. ROCE is coming around 22% for the last 3 years as against our average threshold of 12%. And the debt to equity is very negligible at around 0.18 as against 1.5 that we take a threshold limit of. And promoter praising is currently 0% as against 25% threshold that we take care of. Right. So on all those parameters, it got listed and we shortlisted and we have a review of the company. And then comes the important part, how the company is poised to grow in the future. What are the future plans? Is there any moat behind the business? And then if the company is has moat in the business, it has good future plan, then what could be some of the risk in the business, right? So my colleague Vijay will be taking you through all this. So over to you, Vijay, now.
Yeah, thank you, Prabhat. So, we will be moving on to the next section. So, the next section will be on the investment thesis. So, as Prabhat has pointed out, the different key strategies and the different history which Apollo Pipe has been through, and now how the future will look like, and based on that, what we have thought, how the Apollo Pipe will look like in, let's say, upcoming 3 to 4 years down the line. So in this investment thesis, we have tried to identify the key factors or the key growth drivers which will help Apollo Pipe to successfully complete that journey of a new level of growth in terms of volume as well, and also on the revenue side. So Kavita, moving on to the next slide. Yeah. So firstly, we have highlighted the key growth drivers in some mainly on the 5 points. So first point is around the government initiatives. So recently, government has around so lots of initiatives around say the infrastructure side and also on the housing side and also on the irrigation side. Some of the key initiatives government has announced they include housing for all or Nal Se Jal or let's say the Project Amrut and Swachh Bharat Abhiyan. So currently government in the last budget, government has allocated around 1 lakh crore of capital towards the infrastructure. And out of this, the pipe segment will see around the inflow of around 8,000 crore. Okay, so if we see the current, let's say the industry size of the plastic pipe, so it is around 302 billion. So which will convert into 30,000 crore roughly on the odd basis. And based on this initiative and also on the with the support of the replacement demand coming in the same segment, so we are expecting that the market itself should reach around 514 billion by FY25 in next 4 to 5 years of horizon period. So we will see that approximately around 15% kind of revenue growth for the industry as an aggregate level. So that's how we get comfort that industry has its tailwinds. So the companies who are actively doing and taking the opportunities to capitalize can also give good growth based on the tailwind. So now we will move on to the key growth drivers for the business. So basically, so we need to understand what are the demand drivers for any company or let's say any particular sector. So when it comes to the PVC pipe, so mainly there are mainly 3 segments where the most of the PVC pipes are used, or let's say the PVC material revolves around. So first is the irrigation sector, which contributes around 47% of the total pipe market in terms of PVC. Then comes the water supply and sanitization and plumbing, which is around 37%. And last is the sewage, which is basically the sewage infrastructure and the chemicals and all. And remaining is around 4%, which is around, let's say, the oil and gas pipes and all different segments. So now we will focus on the main 2 segments, like the irrigation and water supply. And for this market, what we have seen, the replacement demands comes around 25%. So this replacement demand is also of 2 parts. So some of the replacement demand is coming from the existing PVC pipes which have worn out or which has been damaged or something. And another demand is coming from the replacement of the existing pipe system of, let's say, the steel tubes or let's say the housing which were having the old water infrastructure like the steel pipe. So they are shifting towards the PVC pipe due to the, let's say, corrosion free or let's say the long life and also the, let's say, the good flow rate across the PVC network, because PVC has less coefficient of friction compared to the steel pipe. so which makes the water flow easily compared to the steel pipes. So now we will deep dive into these two segments of irrigation and water supply. So Kavita, please move to the next slide. Yeah. So if we talk about the irrigation, so firstly let's talk about the Indian, like the cultivated land and all. So India is around 142 million hectare of the cultivated land, and if we see the irrigation part, it's around only 50%, so which is a quite lower compared to the developed nations who have more than 70%, 80% kind of the irrigation land coverage. So what Indian government is focusing on the irrigation side is they have launched the Pradhan Mantri Krishi Sanchay Yojana. Under this, they have announced various programs, okay, like AIBP, or let's say the Har Khet Ko Pani, or per drop, more drop, integrated watershed management and all. So what government is trying to do basically, so they are going to increase the coverage of the irrigated land. Okay. So currently government has announced that they are going to spend around 50,000 crore in next 5 years. Okay. So if we see the total investment in irrigation, it's around 1,000 billion. Okay. Like the existing investment plus the new investment. So what we see, like this investment in irrigation will climb up to 1,1200 odd irrigation billion rupees in irrigation segment. So what government is trying to do is basically they are trying to bring more land under the irrigation coverage, and also like the different initiative. So one of the very interesting initiative is a micro irrigation, where the water utilized per plant is very low compared to the other irrigation methods. So currently we have around only 1.2 million hectare, which is less than 1% of the total cultivated land. So government is actively adding 0.5 million hectare per year under micro irrigation program. So what we can see from this is like the 50% land is already not irrigated, and the micro irrigation has very low coverage. So from this we can extrapolate there is a long way to grow in the irrigation coverage on the countryside and also on the states level. So this is what makes us more bullish, or let's say give comfort that demand growth drivers are intact. So we don't have to worry, let's say, about the, let's say, the one or two negative periods, or let's say the pain period for the company like it was for the corona time. So if the long term growth drivers are intact, so we should not worry about the small fluctuations, and we should focus on the long term journey. So quickly moving on to the next industry discussion. uh, so also we will discuss the water supply part before moving to the, let's say, the deep coverage on the industry and all. So what we can see in water supply and plumbing, so it constitutes around 35 to 40% of the PVC market demand. Okay. So, and there is a huge shortage of urban poor homes, okay, in India. So the recent survey that was conducted in 2020 by Government of India, so we had like under requirement of around 2 crore like the housing unit. Okay. And what government has come up with is like they have announced the housing for all scheme. In this scheme, what government is focusing, government is building the, let's say, the they are launching the interest subsidy as well as the affordable housing program, where like the people can buy the house at subsidized interest rate. So the interest subsidy is up to 2.67 lakh per house. So what we have thought, like also government is focusing on, let's say, the Swachh Bharat Abhiyan, Amrut, and Smart City Mission. So all these investments in the industry comes around 500 odd billion in terms of rupees, and government is planning to boost this investment by 12% CAGR in couple of years. Okay, so we can see this reaching around 640 billion. So what we understand from this, the 47% which is coming from irrigation has a decent growth rate going forward. And similarly, the second demand driver, which is the water supply and plumbing, which is also 40% of the total demand, has a good growth rate about 12%. So now we have like complete picture that more than that 80% of the industry have a long-term tailwind to particular sector. So we can get comfort from the, let's say, industry side, or we don't see any, let's say, the let's say disruption immediately happening in the sector. Okay. So moving on to the industry side, Kavita, please move this slide. Yeah. So coming to the sector, so if we see the, let's say, the plastic and the PVC pipe sector, so around 60% of the market is organized segment. Okay. And the largest pipes leaders, as we have mentioned, is around Supreme, or let's say the Astral and the Pinolex and all. Okay, so they are the existing market leader. And recently, we have seen very interesting phenomenon in last, let's say, 3-4 quarters. So we also have ground team which assists us and give the quick feedback what is happening on the ground, and we have also different sets of let's say network analysts which provide us the additional info like on the primary research side. Okay, so what we have gained the info on the, let's say, the industry side. So in last 3-4 quarters, the small players are struggling with the prices of PVC because there is supply side disruption in PVC pipe because of the lockdown. The supply of the PVC raw material, which is the PVC resins, is quite low. Because of that, PVC resins price have gone up. PVC prices have gone up, and which has turned into the liquidity crisis, and which has further accentuated to working capital constraints because they have to source the raw materials from the, let's say, the far location, or they are facing the, let's say, the delivery challenges as well to the next party. So this has led to exit of some of the small participants. Of course, in the last quarter, what we saw, like some of the players were trying to get back into the unorganized segment, but they were not able to like successfully do it because the existing customers have already shifted to the organized players. Okay, so this has been the the consolidation phenomenon in the sector. So this has indirectly boosted, has given a huge boost to the organized players because organized players have like a strong supply chain network. They have more than let's say they also take care of their sourcing risk, and they have like different touch points. Let's say one small player can have like say 10-12 touch points in particular city, or let's say the one state, but the big players like Apollo Pipes, or let's say the industry leaders, will have like around 20-30 distribution points and more than 500 touch points in particular big state. So this has worked well for the organized player. Also, there was like anti-dumping duty imposition from the government side for the next 5 years on the CPVC and PVC resins import. So, which has given a further boost to Indian organized sectors, because what they have started doing is they have started to backward integrate. So earlier they were majorly importing the, let's say, the PVC resins from the, let's say, the domestic suppliers and the China as well. So now they have started to backward integrate into start producing these PVC resins in their companies itself. What this gives a benefit, it also brings down the, let's say, the delivery time for the raw material. It also substantially brings down the cost. Okay, and it also makes in the company independent of the external factors. Okay, so all these factors have given a huge boost for the organized players, mainly because they have also the capital to play around. So this is for the mainly the sector part. Now we will move on to the one interesting segment. Please move to the next slide, Kavita. Yeah. So as we know, the PVC pipes are like the bath are also used in bath fittings, or let's say the HDPE pipes and all. So the dye, if we can just change the dye, so dye can be shaped around, let's say, water tank as well. So these PVC companies recently have uh, started showing interest in the water tank as well. So we all know the name of Syntex, which was a market leader in the water tank business. So although the industry itself of water tank is unorganized, only 30% market share is to the organized player, and 50% market share is towards the Syntex out of the organized segment. So what these companies have started, they have started manufacturing the let's say the water tank business with their existing facility, water tanks, and these companies have already the large distribution network through which they are distributing the pipes. So now what they have thought that, boss, we can also distribute the, let's say, let's try and distribute the water tank. So that has like worked wonders for these guys. And although the base is small, but in case of Apollo Pipes, they also launched the Apollo Life segment for the water tank. And based on the on just in 3 quarters of blockbuster performance, they even double the capacity for the water tank. So this is a kind of response that like the PVC pipe companies are getting, particularly Apollo Pipes in the water tank business. And we are expecting that the water tank market should, let's say, clock around, let's say, the 12 to 13% kind of CAGR in next 5 years. Okay, so that is the these are all in some of the drivers which are driving the demand and how these companies are focusing to capitalize on that. So moving on to the next slide, Kavita. Yeah. So based on this, all this, let's say the demand growth drivers or the sector consolidation, which has worked well for the Apollo pipes and the industry overall as well. So what we can see in the future, so current capacity is around 118K million ton per metric ton per annum for the Apollo pipes. Okay. So, and the current production line is around 48,000. So company has, let's say the, has completed the brownfield expansion, and companies focusing around the 1 lakh ton per annum, so which is an increase of 100% in volume in next 2.5 to 3 years. Although companies conservative due to the corona spread and all, maybe the uh, third wave may hit. So companies like being conservative, and we also think that the company has like seen the huge demand in the, let's say the central and southern part of the India where they have recently launched. So we can see the ramp up of the capacity towards around, let's say the volume to go up around 1 lakh ton per annum. Okay, and this will let's say how this will impact the financials. So we are expecting that the revenue and the, let's say the volume should grow in the range of 25% in the next 3 years for the at least on the revenue side, and also the margins will improve. Like for the normal PVC pipe PC, the margins will be less. But when it come to the like the value added segments like the bath fittings, or let's say the we are talking about the water tanks and all, so the margins will be better. So we can further see the margin expansion from this segment, because Apollo Pipe is shifting towards producing more value-oriented products, which has higher margin. Okay, so in this investment thesis, we have outlined the, let's say the different growth drivers and the different industry tailwinds. But there are things that we need to be sure that Apollo Pipes will be able to achieve this target of, let's say, the growing the revenue by 25% CAGR, and achieving the capacity utilization of 1 lakh ton per annum. Okay, so what are those key factors which help us to, like, which gives us comfort to, let's say the to go bullish on this business? So I will just take an example from the cricket sports. Okay, so let's say when we are discussing the cricket story, because Indians have a huge fan following around cricket, so that's why, like the small example from the cricket side. So normally, like when we are talking about, let's say the India, or let's say the some team like England, so we will talk that Indians have certain advantage at certain pitches. Okay, that this team has competitive edge over the other team. So this competitive edge will help the, let's say, particular team to win the game, or let's say win the one day series or test series. So this competitive edge is similar in the investment business as well. Okay, so when it comes to the business, the certain businesses will have certain competitive edge over the other businesses. Okay, and this competitive edge comes from the basic sources. So when we talk about, let's say the cricket team, so let's say team A has a more competitive advantage or competitive edge over team B. So team A may have like the better batsmen who can play all sorts of balls and all sorts of pitch. Similarly, they have some better bowler who knows the pitch, who understands the, like the, what should be the extent of the pitching, what should be the, like the, how is the outfield and all. So this will help, this competitive edge will come from these sorts of small sources, like the batsman is good, or let's say the bowler is good. Similarly, when it comes to the business, this competitive edge comes from the small sources. Okay, and this competitive edge is named as the moat in any business. Okay, so these moats help, or let's say give the competitive edge to the business over other business. So just to move to the next slide. Yeah. So as we have like defined the what is the definition of, let's say, competitive advantage or moat. So basically it helps businesses to, let's say, gain profit, or let's say they can maintain market share for longer period of time. And why should we focus on the moat? So basically we should focus on the moat from the shareholders perspective, because it adds the intrinsic value. Okay, so just to understand how the moats can add value, so we will take a small example. Okay, so let's say when we deposit some money in the, let's say, bank, so we get, let's say, 6.5% kind of interest rate for, let's say, 3 years of the maturity. So our capital will compound around, let's say, 6.5% for 3 years. Okay. Similarly, when we are talking it to the business level, let's say in the business, return on investment is around 25%. Okay. And the time business life cycle is around, let's say the business life is around 20 years. Okay. So what we will see, let's say the company A has a 25% of return on investment for 20 years. Company B has a 15% of return on investment for the 15 years. And the company C has a return on investment of 10% for the 10 years. Okay. So as we can see, the company A will have more compounding value. Okay. How it will be like the company, let's say we start with 100 rupees in the company A. So company will generate 25 rupees on the first year, which is closing balance will be 125. Next year again it will reinvest. So the capital will compound for 25% for the 20 years in the company A. For the company B, it's around 15% return on investment for 15 years. The value will be comparatively less than the company A. Similarly, company C has only 10% compounding CAGR, which is the return on investment for the 10 years. So if we just plot these companies on the, let's say the diagram basis. So from the left, if we see from the left, if we start, the leftmost is the company A, okay, which has the higher return on investment and higher time of the business life. Okay. So which results, the area which is generated by this triangle is the value of the company. Okay. So that's why we see that the company who have like higher return on investment and they have more higher number of business years will have more economic value. Okay. So these firms will have like this same will be reflected in the stock price as well. So when we see the companies like trading at higher valuation multiple and all, so we see that this higher valuation multiple is coming from this moats. Okay. Basically that investors are expecting that company can grow their capital by 25% for next 20 years. So which will create huge net worth for the shareholder. So that's why we should focus on moats. So now we will try to like structure the moat framework in Apollo Pipes just to understand like how Apollo Pipe can give the shareholders like return and maximize it. So moving to the next part. Yeah. So basically in Apollo Pipes, we have identified four modes. Okay. So first one is the brand. So APL Apollo enjoys the heavy brand in steel tubes. Okay. So they have like 50% market share, which is a parent company for Apollo Pipes. So they are capitalizing the parent's brand. Second part is the Shri Amitabh Bachchan is also the brand ambassador of the APL Apollo. And it is also like that indirect branding is also helping their let's say the child company, which is Apollo Pipes. Okay. And so what Apollo Pipes is doing on the aggressive side, they are also coming with their own, let's say, brand building exercise. On this year, they have allocated around 2% of the revenue and separate brand ambassador apart from the Mr. Amitabh Bachchan. So this is how they are trying to build a brand. And we should understand why one company should focus on building the brand. Because let's take example of, let's say, the certain brands like Apple. So the people who buy Apple products have, let's say, they are fascinated by their features or they are fascinated by the quality of the experience term as well, the ease of, let's say, using the mobile phones. So people will pay premium for the quality. Okay. So similarly, when we build a brand at Apollo Pipes, so we will see the more, let's say, margin coming into the balance sheet and also on the P&L, which can boost the profit margin. Okay. And second most is around the low cost producer. Okay. So how the low cost producer currently Apollo Pipes have presence across the, let's say, northern and western market very strongly, but they are increasing their footprint in southern and eastern market through Bangalore and Raipur plant. So what will happen when this will substantially decrease the transportation cost, okay, for the company as well, and also it will improve the let's say the dealer times. Okay, so currently in North India, company is able to let's say supply their products to the dealers only in 48 hours, which was around 12 days a year back. So that's a huge improvement. So they are trying to replicate the same thing in southern and southern and central market. So what will this happen? This will also eventually improve the working capital. Okay, and also there will be some economies of scale coming out because of the capacity expansion, which will substantially bring down the overhead cost. Okay, so now moving to the other modes. Kavita, please move to the next slide. Yeah. So the third moat is around the management. Okay, so we think that APL Apollo has more than 3 decades of experience on the parent level, and they have already built a like the market leader brand in steel tube, and so they have like a huge experience how the brand is built or how the pipe business is built. So we have like very experienced team at Apollo Pipes because it is managed by the same promoters. So we think that their focus on innovation will be replicated in the Apollo Pipes as well. And the last but not the least, the network effect. So as Prabhat has pointed out that they have Apollo Pipes have currently 600 distributors and 7,000 odd retail touch points. So what they are also looking to aggressively expand in the southern and central market. And the dealer touch point time has also reduced to 2 days. So this will decrease the ordering time for the dealer as well. Because let's take the example of when the company was shipping the product in 12 days earlier. So dealer used to have like order the product and then he will wait and then he will sell the product in the market. So the receivable and inventory period was higher for the company. Now it has substantially bring down the delivery time. So now in dealer has incentive to order multiple times because dealer knows that if I order today, boss, on let's say in couple of days I will get the new inventory. So I should not stock up, and also like I should not delay the receivable because each time you replenish your inventory, you have to clear the past dues. That's how the common thing works in the pipe business. So these are the modes like which gives the strength to our investment thesis that the Apollo pipe can become, let's say, the leader or in the PVC segment and embark this journey. But we are also cognizant of some of the risks that business involves because it's not good to focus on only on the one side of the coin. It's necessary to focus on the second part of the coin as well. So we will discuss some key risks before concluding on the presentation side. So Kavita, we can move to the risk segment. Yeah. So we have like picked up the 5 key risks that we can think that we should be focusing on in this journey, let's say in next 3 to 4 years of horizon in the PVC pipe business. So there will be some volatility in the key raw materials prices. So we have to be very cognizant of that, like how the PVC resin pipes or like the ethylene dichloride and VCM's price are moving. So that can be the like the key concern for the company, or let's say the slowdown in residential and non-residential construction activity, or sometimes it can happen the subsidy program launched by the government can have delay, okay, because of the let's say the execution risk also on the regulatory side. So this execution and implementation risk should be of our concern as well. And also the recent pandemic, so maybe we are passing through the second wave, so we should be cognizant of the third wave in case it happens. So these are the key risks that one should always keep in mind, okay. So we at RH always believe that risk and return always walk in hand, and we have developed a certain set of investment method at Right Horizon, and we deeply respect that different investors have like different investment framework, or let's say the different investment professionals have different work, investment style, and we think that the people who are passionate on individual basis as well on the investment professionals will continue to gain, let's say, the good return in the market. But when it comes to investing, that is only the half story because we all know what Warren Buffett has done in the stock market. Like 50 years, he has generated more than 20% CAGR. But no one is able to mimic that because in stock market, it is not only about the financial side or the magic formula like we highlighted in the Apollo 5. In investment, it is more than that. It's like what to do, when to do, and the feel of like the conviction when you are not doing well. Okay. So most of the time when there is a bull market or the prices of the stocks are rising, so most of the people or let's say the passionate investor or the fund managers will do well. So there is very easy time for everyone to stick the bull market and we can stick to the conviction. But the real test comes only when there is, let's say, when you are not performing well on the individual basis or let's say the company level as well. So that's the time of true test. So we should be always like focusing on the conviction when there is a difficult time. So I think that's it from our side.
Today, Mr. Anil Rego is one of the most well-known financial advisors in the country.
Anil Rego, CEO and founder of Right Horizons.
I'm getting Anil Rego, founder and CEO of Right Horizons, who joins us right
From
now.
a Bangalore studio, Anil Rego, CEO, founder, Right Horizons.